the drivetrain. It's the backbone of any FRC robot. 6 wheels, it's reliable, it's got chains, you can put belts in it, you can use rubber wheels, you can use nitrile wheels. It's the way that your robot moves. If I'm going this way and I want to go that way, you got to turn and then you can go that way. Crazy, right? And there's no real way of getting around that. Unless, imagine, you weren't burdened by turning before you moved. Think of the efficiency and the maneuverability that comes with just going side to side. There's a better way, my friends. Swerve. You may have noticed over the last couple years a lot more people with this type of drivetrain, one called a swerve drivetrain. Swerve modules each have their own wheel, and each one can roll not only forwards and backwards, but also horizontally. This means that we can do things like turn the wheels 90 degrees so that they're all facing this direction instead of this direction, and move this way instead of this way. This might not seem super crazy, but once you sprinkle some, programming magic on this, you can turn it into a type of drivetrain that opens up so many more options. You can do things like circle strafe, you're able to move while going forwards, you can align yourself in a tight position against a wall, you can do things like, aim a ball or a shooter against a target without having the need for a turret system. And this is just some of the things that having a swerve drivetrain allows you to do. Oh, but you may be asking, how does a swerve drivetrain work? Well, this gear connects to that motor, and this gear connects to that motor. Oops, whoops, nobody cares. We just care that it works. And there are way better people to explain how a swerve drivetrain works to you than me. 1310 doesn't have the time nor the resources to make our own modules, so we bought these ones from Swerve Drive Specialties. Now, assembling these modules might have taken a super active team, 2 or 3 weeks just to, build it up, get it ready for programming. But for us, it took us 4 months because, our off season is normally filled with safety training, programming workshops, running an FLL event. It's not a lot, but we need teacher supervision to do things. And that was used to do more important business, like making sure people know how to use the tools safely and making sure the programming team knows how to program, both very important for the season. And, hey, wait a minute. Speaking of programming, I forgot to mention the programming that goes into this robot. Well, it's working better than I thought it would. Yeah? It's moving. It's working so well, I think it's only one. Programming a swerve drive is a little harder than programming a normal one, mostly because of all the encoders you need to make sure are calibrated just right to make sure each wheel turns the right amount. If the wheel thinks a degree is actually spinning 5 centimeters, then when you tell it to turn 5 degrees, it's going to want to rotate a full 25 centimeters. This is a weird and not exactly accurate way to say this, but it gets the point across. Programming spent lots of time working on this, and by programming I mean just Quentin and Quentin's dad, who are currently programming this drive in their basement over winter break.
Clear. Okay, so this is field oriented, this is forward. Backwards. Right.
So if swerve drives are so hard to program, why do so many teams use swerve? Well, it's just so much more maneuverable. I mean, it makes these regular drive systems look clunky in comparison. It's so much nicer to be able to do things like sidestep opponents and adjust side to side when doing things like aiming. The bar for swerve has also gotten lower and lower over time. Historically, issues such as difficulty in production, unreliability, and the need for more motors than a standard drive system deterred users. Now you can just buy some of the best swerve modules ever produced for a couple $1,000s, which isn't as much as you think when your funding goals include shipping 50 kids across another country. It's kind of hard to stress how much of a difference swerve drive makes, But, it isn't always directly better. For some, it was one of the worst possible options for driving, like it was in Stronghold. That year, there was obstacles you needed to climb over or go through, and swerve modules just really weren't up for the challenge compared to other, more reliable and simpler drive systems. I guess unless you're Bomb Squad and you just kind of deal with it. So even if some games don't really favor swerve, we're still making one right now and hoping that the game doesn't clock us over the head with some literal rocks. Right now, our swerve drive is being worked on and will hopefully be ready for the 2024 season, Crescendo. We are so excited to start driving it and hope to see your teams out on the field. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell, or whatever, and have a happy kickoff.